Yes.
Welcome to Long Story Short, the podcast where we discuss the movies that I love.
And I put up with.
My name is Mike.
And I'm Jordan.
So are we going to jump into where we rickrolled the audience?
Oh. So, everyone, I watched
My
this
favorite,
movie.
one of my top 10 favorite films
Well,
of
you
all
didn't
time.
even preface it like that, I don't think, while I watched it. You put on this movie, and I was
think
like...
I rickrolled you.
I was annoyed by it because it was so fucking loud at first, and I was trying to do, like, calculus, and you're
it's
just
super
like...
pretentious.
Anyway, this movie just became one of my favorite movies of all time, and it was about fucking drumming, out of all things. Whiplash. We wanted to talk about Whiplash so bad. It was, like, the movie, I wanted to watch it immediately after it ended, and that doesn't happen for me that often, because usually I
don't think
tolerate
ever.
movies.
I don't think it's ever happened.
No. So.
But we did watch this yesterday again. And it's written and directed by Damien Chazelle, and it stars J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, and really, like, we could go into the other actors, which play a very valuable part in this movie, but they don't matter.
That leads me into my fun facts. First fun fact is that the Schaefer Band actors were actors. They were jazz band musicians, which makes sense, but that's cool. My second fun fact isn't fun, at least not for Miles Teller, because he really got slapped in the face repeatedly by J.K. Simmons. He had, like, the flush on his cheeks. I thought it was good makeup. Apparently he was just slapped. Also, he got him back, though. Obviously not intentionally. We're not trying to start no rumors. But he tackled J.K. Simmons in that one scene and broke his ribs accidentally.
J. Jonas Jameson from Spider-Man.
No, Miles Teller...
No, I'm talking about J.K. Simmons. He plays J. Jonas Jameson.
I was very confused.
J. Jonah Jameson in fucking
I know him from
Spider-Man.
Law and Order. Like,
Well,
that is...
Just because you grew up with a...
My grandma raised me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes her Law and Order. Anyway, is that my fun facts? Are
That's
those
all?
my... No, we forgot a very important fact about this movie. It is a drumming movie, and Miles Teller is doing most of the drumming.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, he was drumming since 15, so I think it's cool when...
They're not just having someone sub
drum
in.
for them? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, another fun fact. You are distantly related to Miles Teller.
Right, yeah.
Very distantly related.
Very distantly related. But yeah, technically, as a Teller, he is like a third or fourth cousin or some shit like that.
Because Ancestry.com is a creepy internet source, and your family got all into it. Tracking people down.
They're finding out who you are. They're coming in your windows. Watch out. Ancestry.com's out to get you. Also, like, if we ever get enough listeners to Ancestry.com, if you want to sponsor us, we'll take your money.
Yes, I didn't even know why I was tan until Ancestry.com.
How did you know?
We knew I was Native American. We didn't know what else was in there making certain features and shit.
That's right.
Ancestry.com, I'm your gal. Okay, this movie was fucking awesome from start to finish. It was really loud.
Well, it's a movie. It's basically like the first half of Full Metal Jacket. J.K. Simmons basically plays Gunny the whole time. And it's about this drummer who wants to be not just a good drummer, but like up there with the best. Charlie Parker, of course, is his hero. And I'm not a musician. I'm not bougie. My dad was a grade school teacher. This movie is about a bougie douchebag drummer that thinks he's better than his position in life. And I was drawn in from the very second it started. This is actually one of the films that you made fun of me for, because it was before we met, and I actually saw this film in theaters by myself. 100% by myself. And it was perfect. It was a perfect theater film by yourself.
Miles Teller gets accepted into one of the most prestigious
Well, he's already in
jazz
this school.
schools. Well, that's why I was getting at. He's not that bougie because he moves into his drumming fucking sound room.
Well, he's already in the school. He gets invited to the upper class.
He's in...
Which we both were in band growing up. And you know that it's basically like the JV and the varsity group. Especially at this prestigious music school.
Is that how you say it? Prestigious?
If you want to say it correctly.
Prestigious?
And you want to sound like a little bit like an asshole.
Okay.
But he gets into this
Don't even say it again.
prestigious music school, and then he gets into the elite program. That's the biggest difference, is he's already in the music school, but he gets invited into it. It's like The Firm. It's like any of these films where you're being kind of promoted from the bottom level up to the top tier.
But the point is, even when you're in the varsity jazz band, you want to be a core member, so you have to get one of the first chairs.
Yeah, and especially as a drummer, you're either turning the page or you're drumming. There's not like any in between. And Miles Teller, aka what's his fucking name?
That's usually my job.
Yeah. Bad job, honey. I'm teasing. Andrew, he really hasn't earned his chair, but he also thinks that Fletcher is in his corner. He thinks that he got picked out of the lower class band because he's skillful. And as we learn throughout the film is that Fletcher really just uses students to fucking play with the other band members.
I thought it was interesting that one of their first conversations, he had asked him about his parents, just so he could use his parents against him when he's yelling at him.
Right, yeah. And when you first saw it, you thought it was something completely different, because you really jumped into this movie not knowing anything about it.
No, Whiplash. I thought it was like, I got Whiplash, and what's the car wreck movie? Crash. I got those confused, because Whiplash, you get whiplash from car crashes. He did get whiplash from a car crash, by the way, but that's not why it's called Whiplash. I also thought it was called Whiplash because you're looking from the drummer to Fletcher, who's the conductor, and you're getting whiplash. That's not it either. They play a song called Whiplash.
Yeah, it's a simple title. It's not complex.
Don't read into it. And that's not the point of this movie. Everybody likes a good come-up movie. Is that what it's called?
Comeback.
Well, come back.
Well, and I don't even know.
Up movie.
I don't even know if it's a comeback movie.
No, that's why it's a come-up movie. We all want to be great.
Explain your.
He comes from this family where whatever they were, cousins were football players, and nobody respected him.
Is an author who never really made it, but settled to be a teacher.
Yeah, and so
his mom bailed.
They're giving him shit for being a drummer.
One of the best lines in the movie, I think, was when he says to his would-be girlfriend, "I don't want to be great. I want to be one of the greats." And I think that was a really important part in the film, where Miles Teller's character isn't satisfied with mediocrity. It's not even like, he knows he's a good drummer. He knows that. Like, that's obvious from the get-go. But he doesn't want to be good. He wants to be famous. Not even necessarily, like, I mean, I didn't know who the fuck Charlie Parker was before this movie. That's not what's important to him. What's important to him is being the great. It's him being the Babe Ruth, him being the Ken Griffey Jr., him being the Russell Wilson. Yeah, I'm using a lot of Seattle sports references. But, because they're the best. Everyone else sucks. Fuck you.
Oh my god.
But no,
but that's exactly why I think it's a come-up movie, because he wants to be the great. We all, and that's, I think, why people like it, is we all feel like that somewhere, but it's just like those people that are talented, those people that are highly motivated, those people who are able to have the resources or get into the schools or be able to do that. And the movie grabs you because we see this being continually challenged taken away from him,
well,
basically.
He's kind
like, he's
of
almost
a loser.
there, and they take it away from him, and we feel that because every one of us has been kicked.
Every part of this film, like, I mean, even at the beginning where he's rushing to class that he thinks starts at 6 and fucking falls face first. Like, literally, like, the references couldn't be more literal.
Yes.
It's crazy.
We've all fallen down. Gotta pick yourself up. Go to that classroom, and then he realizes that the teacher's bullying him, or that he made a mistake.
What are one of your fun facts about his... One of the main parts of this movie is when he is drumming, like, his fucking heart out, and he's bleeding all over his drum set. And, honey, what was your point about that?
That he was actually bleeding.
Yeah.
Miles Teller was practicing
that hard.
That's why
this film got fucking nominated for all this shit, because it's seriously, you can tell from start to finish that this is a film of passion and something that both the writers and the actors felt. Like, it speaks to all of us, I really think. Like, we can go deep with it because it ends with him having, like, it ends with him finally getting the respect of J.K. Simmons, getting the respect of Fletcher, in basically telling him to fuck off. Like, that's the end scene, is a final fuck you to Fletcher.
I think it's important to know that, like, he got kicked out of the program. Like, Fletcher, like, the climb... Well, that's not the climax. Right. It's the escalating scene, whatever it's fucking called. He is going to that big performance, or whatever it is.
Well, and he gets kicked out of the program, and he also rats on Fletcher. Well... Is that where you're going? I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Keep going, woman.
He's speeding off to the performance. He forgets his drumsticks.
Right.
His ride isn't there. There's all these things coming against him, and then he gets fucking T-boned by like a semi.
You're right. No, this is the climax.
This is the crash Whiplash scene where it could have been that, because he is like, you should have went to the hospital, Andrew. But instead, he picks himself up off of the concrete, all bloody and shit, and gets to the performance, sits down at the drum. You see Fletcher look at him. He knows he's fucked up. Like, he's bleeding.
It doesn't matter to Fletcher, though, because for Fletcher, the performance is what's important.
That's how you get... So the performance basically is... Well, what is that?
He keeps bringing up Charlie Parker, who became great. You're seeing me use finger quotes if you're watching the YouTube, but you should subscribe. And that's because Charlie Parker became great because I can't remember the name of the other artist, threw a symbol at his head. And that's just not fucking how it works.
Well, no, also,
it works in Fletcher's mind, but it doesn't work in real life. Don't fucking assault your employees, motherfucker.
They have these teams like baseball. What are they called? Farming teams, where people picked from. So this is basically a farm band. A farming band.
You're not farming these characters. They're not fucking crops.
Yes, because the point of this performance is the talent agents, the music producers, everybody is in the audience.
Well, they come
this
to these...
is where the greats are being farmed from. Okay, Farm Band League. I'm making this up, but you know the point. Yeah. And so this performance is very important. It doesn't matter if he's fucked up. He plays...
Well, the main thing is this is one of the biggest jazz schools in the country, and I mean...
Prestigious.
One of the most prestigious jazz schools in the country, and the main point is that, I mean, he's a fucking drummer. Really, where's he going to get his work from? If he can't get picked up out of this school, we see what happens to him when he drops out. So, he goes and works fast food.
Yeah, that was the next point, is after the performance, he gets kicked out by Fletcher.
Yeah. I mean, you can't assault your teacher and just stay around.
This is the scene that the rib breaking takes place. It's very pivotal to the movie, but it's not the climax.
This movie...
The climax...
Yeah, it happens when Fletcher...
They meet up because...
Fletcher got fired. And
he just casually runs into him because Fletcher's playing at like a bar or something.
Right, and Andrew's doing nothing basically. He's kind of came into the place of his worst nightmare where he is settled.
Yes.
He's working fast food. He's not doing much of anything at all.
We all feel it because we've all been there too.
We've all
had to settle in life. We all can't be the greatest.
And Fletcher offers him a chance to play in one of his upcoming performances, which, of course, once again could propel Andrew into a place of being relevant drumming-wise.
One last chance. The climax. We, as the audience, are, like, rooting for Andrew. We think, like, this is inconsequential. Like,
we don't trust Fletcher at this point at all, but
we don't trust him, but we don't think that he knows anything. Like, the lawyer said that nobody would know it was you.
It's gonna be confidential.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's not confidential.
He switches the music, and so Andrew doesn't know what to play, so he's all trying to, like, fake it till you make it, and it doesn't work.
This climax, honey,
fuck.
Let's talk about this. Okay. So we basically wrapped up the film. Let's go ahead and go into conversational mode because you guys can assume what happens. This ending is fucking amazing. It's you finally getting a chance to get revenge on everyone that doubted you.
So
it's you getting a chance to fucking rub it in everyone's face.
Andrew gets up from his drum set because he knows, like, he's fucked. He's like, fine, Fletcher, you won.
Right.
He goes to leave, and he sees his dad watching him through the doorway.
Right, who is kind of a symbol... A symbol? Am I saying that right? Symbol?
It works. Well, he's
a symbol of not only someone that Andrew respects, but also someone that's settled.
Yes.
And that's not who he wants to be. He doesn't want to be someone that's settled for their position in life. Like, his dad's definitely not a failure at all.
But it's also that he knows that his dad doesn't really believe him at this point. His dad, like, asked him, like, is this school going to get you a job? And, of course, it's not, so...
It's an art school. Why would it?
And so he goes back to his drum set, and he fucking drums! He fucking drums! He gets the whole band, basically, to play...
Well, he even earns the respect of Fletcher finally.
Caravan. He drums his little fucking heart out. You see their eyes meet, and you see the moment.
And Fletcher finally respects him by coming up to the drum, and not only like, he asked him what are you doing initially, but then the cool part is where he starts conducting. I love the climax of this film because Fletcher not only fucking like, is impressed with his skill. Like, he finally backs him up. He finally has his back.
Well, we learned while they were sitting at the bar that's what J.K. Fletcher wanted, is he's always wanted to conduct one of the... He's basically like Philatides on Hercules, like, hiding in his cave, like, I wanted the greats, and Achilles could have been the greats.
Danny DeVito?
Yes. Achilles could have been the great, but then he fucked up, and now I'm a failure because I never had a great. And that was J.K. Simmons' problem too. But guess what, bitch? You got one. And you see it in his eyes when he saw that he had the great while he was drumming, and that is what got him his awards. Because that was...
Okay, so we're going to get conversational because Whiplash, I think, is worth a lot.
You already said that.
I think it's worth a lot of time, but let's go and get into the ratings. Rotten Tomatoes, both the critics and the audience gave it a 94%. On IMDb, I got an 8.5, and Whiskey Jack says, Hollywood make-believe garbage at its best. Having spent most of my entire life playing music, playing drums, and teaching the art, I can tell you that there are so many things wrong with this movie. It's laughable. The absurd, over-the-top, face-slapping scene in the trailer was enough for me to avoid seeing it. But at the urging of a friend, a non-musician who thought it was great, I caved into my curiosity. His taste in movies aside, he's still my friend, and I was right in my initial judgment. Watching the entire movie was a waste. I made it halfway through and ditched. Whiplash is an unadulterated load of crap. 1 out of 10. Okay, so Whiskey Jack is very clearly a failed musician, right?
Probably. I would like to say a few things, though, about that. ER, the show, 911,
Scrubs.
Chicago Fire. All of these shows are based on a job, but the most dramatic things are constantly happening. This is based on a job where the most dramatic things are constantly happening. It's a fucking movie. It's a fucking drama.
Whiskey Jack is probably a failed musician. And you know what? I feel safe saying that because I'm not even an attempted musician. So,
I would also like to say that, yes, there is some foul language. We have a hard F. There is some, like J.K. Simmons said he would like to fuck...
I will fuck you like a pig!
He wanted that taken out, and it didn't get taken out.
And it shouldn't have.
I mean, like, there's some shit, like, it's also, like, you compare
it's an R-rated movie.
Full Metal Jacket.
It's an R-rated film. Fucking...
There's lots of yelling and chastising.
Don't watch it with your children.
Don't be a little pussy-ass bitch. You won't be great.
Don't be a pab. Pussy ass
It's J.K.
bitch.
Simmons. He's Philatides and David Goggins put together. And Andrew is Hercules.
So fucking good. Okay, so I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name. Monkey Butt 1998 says, I remember watching this for the first time back in 2014 and admiring what an absolute masterpiece it was. Amazing directing, writing, editing, and acting. All of the music in this movie is wonderful and will stay in your head for years. Love how Andrew starts off so innocent and reserved, but slowly descends into arrogance and narcissism. Fletcher is the most thought-provoking character in the film and one of the best written antagonists ever. I notice how the best villains are always presented as the most evil wretches before they explain themselves and almost make you agree with them. This was also done well by Marvel and Thanos. Seen plenty of movies, but none of them have ever reached this height. Greatest film of all time, 10 out of 10.
Hercules was such a better reference.
Well, yeah, anyway. I agree with you. Well, and here's the thing. I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9.3. I'm going almost 10.
Yeah, I agree because there's always room for improvement. Nobody's made the perfect movie.
Right. Shawshank Redemption probably being the closest, but
Green Mile?
I need to rewatch that. But no, this film was amazing. It every single part of it, like, there's no reason why a movie about drumming should be interesting.
I'm fucking in it.
I literally held off on showing you this movie for years because I didn't know what you would think. And if you're into it, that's a statement. All right.
You sound like Ted Lasso when he talks about the assistant coach.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's jump into conversational mode because you're right. You nodding your head to this movie. I remember we got done with it and you were into it, and that's how I knew it was fucking great. This was one of the movies, like I said, I went and saw it in theaters by myself. And I left the theater saying, yeah, I did the right thing. It was great. I like movies, come-up movies that make me want to follow my dreams afterwards. Too bad I've already settled. If you're not watching on YouTube, we're gonna be kicked out of YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna get based on what? Okay. You better fucking subscribe now, otherwise. And this week we are discussing Jiu Jitsu. And I had to put up with this one. Yeah, well, it was written and directed by Dimitri L. Stars Frank Grillo, Rick Yoon, Tony Jaa, and Nicolas Cage. This was something that came out really recently. It came out this year, and like this week. Yeah, like a couple days ago. And it also stars Crabman. I don't know if any of you guys watched My Name is Earl, but of course they did. Crabman's in it, and he's the best part. It has one of my favorite lines in the entire film. So we're not wait. Facts about Jiu Jitsu. Oh right, you got a few facts about this movie, don't you? No. I don't know why you're laughing so maniacally. Sorry. I have facts about Jiu Jitsu. So I'm sure if you're watching a movie like Jiu Jitsu, you know what Jiu Jitsu is. But for you would hope
that don't. Maybe they just like Nic Cage. And they
Who
just...
doesn't love Nic Cage?
I don't know at this point.
I wanted to double this up with Mandy.
No, thank you.
I didn't mean to double this up with one of your favorite movies that you'd ever watch.
I thought it was interesting that Jiu Jitsu, it originally originated words in the early 1900s, but modern day Jiu Jitsu is fairly new. The creators are said to be Helio and Carlos Gracie, and they taught like a new
Who are
method.
those assholes?
Well, that's why, because I didn't know this. So like they taught this modern day jiu-jitsu, which is based on like the ability for a smaller statured person to be able to fight like a big guy, big tough guy or gal, or alien spaceman, perhaps. See,
Just
it's really
throwing
famous.
out some ideas.
It's really famous because of MMA and UFC, of course, because it's like their...
Right. Well, I don't think Tony Jaa is very big. I think he's a little man.
It takes 8 to 13 years to get your black belt, and there's only like 5,000 registered jiu-jitsu black belts in the world.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thought that was interesting too. Those are my facts.
So they were all about jujitsu, not at all about the movie?
Correct.
All right, well, that's fine. This movie doesn't have great ratings, and it doesn't deserve great ratings. However, I do think that if you go into this film expecting a kung fu film...
It's not kung fu, it's jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu was based on fucking...
If you're watching the YouTube, you're seeing my just...
Judo.
Don't
The descendant of judo. You can't call it
I
kung
can't
fu.
do any
You're
of
gonna
it.
make all the martial arts people fucking pissed.
All of our listeners...
If you confuse the martial arts, don't confuse them.
We got Fred and Thomas. Those are two that we know for sure.
Okay.
And I know Thomas. Thomas is not a jiu-jitsu expert, but he was interested in this movie, and I shouldn't shit talk.
So,
I'm
Thomas,
I'm not shit talking either, by the way. I am just saying, like, you calling it kung fu, you know what I mean. He knows.
No.
So does Fred. So does Josh. When I say kung fu, they know what I'm talking about. This isn't necessarily a film that you're watching for the acting. Right?
Yeah, it's for the jiu-jitsu, so call it what it is.
Whatever.
Okay.
Fucking hater.
So, yeah, because this movie fucking sucked.
It didn't suck.
Okay, get into it then. Let's get into it about how this movie was so great.
It's Predator. So
we were watching it for the jiu-jitsu
Nic Cage. We were watching it for Nic Cage.
And the storyline that's been done already. Much better.
Jiu-jitsu is Predator with karate instead of guns. And I was fine with it.
No, it's with jiu-jitsu. It's fine. So it begins with
our main character. Some asshole. It doesn't matter. Like, this is not the focus of our podcast. So let's not get lost in the weeds here.
I think the point is
we rickrolled you guys. We're luring you in with this horrible jiu-jitsu movie, and we're really going to talk about Whiplash.
Okay, we'll get there. No, we should talk about it a little bit. It just came out, so there's spoilers ahead. But basically, it's like a military, like the army or something, is stationed somewhere.
This guy. Well, we're intro to this dude who is running away from some unbeatable creature.
He's just been hit by a fucking meteor, is what we're told.
Well, no, he gets the throwing stars thrown into him. He pulls a Jason Bourne.
Yeah, but so your first line, we have to talk about the beginning of the movie so you can say your favorite line. Did I say first line? Sorry. A lady is yelling, and they need a translator.
Oh, yeah.
And so they get the translator.
This is where we're introduced to Crabman, who has possibly the best line in cinema. Arguably.
This line made me think this movie was going to be good.
Oh yeah, no. This literally the first 10 minutes of this movie gives you the impression that it might actually be a good movie. It's not gonna be a good movie, but like a fun movie, and it still is. we liked it. It's not good, but we liked it. So, this foreign woman brings up this soldier to army base and asks for help, and she says a bunch of stuff in a language that is not English. And the commander asks for Crabman to translate because he's a translator.
Hey, what's this woman saying?
And he goes, "Hey, woman, what you saying?" Best line of the movie. Best line of maybe film.
And obviously that's displaying a certain type of comedy, which you think would be continued throughout the film.
It's not. The rest of the film is basically like a bad soap opera with some badass fighting.
Yes. So if you like Jiu Jitsu,
the story, honey, though, like okay, like I get why you're shitting on it, but we didn't hate the story
because it's Alien or it's Predator,
and it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. The acting was bad, but the story was good. Nic Cage was great.
I think he was unnecessary.
Oh, of course he was. they brought Nic Cage on to sell the movie. That's it. But he was still good.
Nic Cage did Jiu Jitsu, so that's worth seeing.
He dies. If you have seen Color Out of Space, another movie that we covered, go ahead and go back and listen to our coverage of Color Out of Space. It was a wonderful H.P. Lovecraft tale with Nic Cage, and you should go check that out because it's way better than this movie. The book is short. We'll get to that.
H.P. Lovecraft did not do the film. Thank God, because it would have been racist.
Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Jiu Jitsu. Jiu Jitsu, Nic Cage is Tommy Chong from Color Out of Space. That was my point with that digression.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that.
And it ends with a decently epic fight scene. I don't know. This movie, guys, you're not jumping into it, guys and gals. You're not jumping into it expecting Shawshank Redemption. Okay, so you're going into it expecting some dope fight scenes, and you get it.
But it's not. It's veering towards Mandy, but it's not quite there. No, I'm just saying in the most recent Nic Cage movies, you're just wondering like what character is he gonna be? He's either gonna be crazy hairy guy, or he's gonna be crazy hairy chainsaw fighting guy.
Right, yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess it's a fair point. With these days and age of Mr. Nicolas Cage, we don't really know what one we're gonna get. Is similar to Forrest Gump.
I just think like people went into this movie for different reasons. Clearly people went into it to watch Jiu Jitsu. We went into it to watch Nic Cage. So it's just which one are we gonna get?
And it's fine. Alright, so let's get into the ratings because we're wrapping up Jiu Jitsu because there's not a lot you can say about that film. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot you can say about this film, but we're choosing to choose brevity. So, the critics give it a 35%, whereas the audience give it a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is interesting to see that the critics gave it a higher rating than the audience did. I didn't think that would happen. Because it seems definitely more like a fan favorite, right? Like if you're gonna watch this movie, you're gonna be a jiu-jitsu fan or a kung fu type film fan, where you're just gonna watch it.
You and your kung fu.
Anastasia Mikhailova says, I love the movie. The cast is great. Nicolas Cage brings a sardonic humor and impressive acting to the film. The stunts are massive and all the action sequences are so well choreographed. Jiu-Jitsu is insanely entertaining. A must-see, 10 out of 10. Which is bold. Not a simp, but I gave 10 for this film just because of Marie Avgeropoulos. Am I even close?
I don't know, but she was alright.
Well,
She wasn't as bad as that
Car
gal.
Thick Raj dash 90243 says 10 out of 10 for that reason. And let's get into the more realistic viewings, more realistic ratings, which is Rubes 121 says, I would not recommend this movie. The storyline and the SGI are enough to hide the cheesy acting and bad directing.
Oh, we didn't even talk about
1 out
the
of 10.
fucking spaceman. Or the plot, really, because the whole plot is the spaceman comes back every 6 years and you have to fight him off with Jiu Jitsu 5 times. Like, kill him 5 times.
Right.
And so, at first you're like, that's an okay looking spaceman. And then he gets, like, facial features and you're like, oh, bad.
Yeah, they shouldn't have shown his face. That really took away from the...
Like, I can see eyes, because people like eyes for emotion or whatever, but as soon as they gave him a nose, it's just like, that spaceman sucks.
I'm good without it, no matter what.
Anyway, so I would like to correct my stance here, because I was researching Kung Fu and shit, and it says that Kung Fu is a blanket term for Chinese martial arts. Well, this is supposed to be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So think I'm wrong or not, I don't know.
Let us know. I don't know. I don't think you are. I think technically that means you're correct.
Okay, so I have to talk about Frozen 2. I know.
Oh my god.
I know I'm late. I'm late to the bandwagon or whatever. But Frozen 2, hot take, was significantly better than Frozen. I think Frozen obviously is memorable. It will be a classic.
I can almost make my face disappear with it.
The characters, like, it's going to go down in Disney history. We understand. I researched how Frozen came to be, the storylines, how they developed. Kristen
Bell.
Yes. Her
From The Good Place.
Her take, or what she did to her work on the film and stuff. All of that was great. Yes. Frozen 2 had much better storylines. Like, I enjoyed that there was
Frozen was overrated.
It was very there was this element to the earth, wind, and fire.
Well, you're a little bit hippie-ish.
Sacrificing the kingdom to put nature back on its course.
Quit eating yourself out.
Trying to regain the circle of life and, break down the dams, that shit. I also enjoyed the element of, like, having the Arendelle, like, the military lay down their arms.
Yeah, you're explaining this to I don't remember Frozen 1, and I have never seen Frozen 2.
We were introduced to, like, the indigenous tribe of people, and, they
What happened to
formed
Josh
mutual
Gad?
Respect. He lived, he died, he was resurrected. I cried.
So he's Jesus?
Yeah, basically. Water has memory. There was lots of science thrown in there. Turtles can breathe out of their butts. It was great.
Is that true?
Yes, all of that is true.
Josh Gad is honestly one of my favorite characters.
He made it worth watching, for sure.
Well, and I regret living in one of the smaller towns in Washington, because I never got a chance to see Josh Gad in fucking... Don't look at her, perverts.
He's just cleaning himself. He's a cat. We're new to cat people. Does that make sense? We're dog people who recently got cats, so we don't understand all of their niches.
All right. So that wraps up our movies. We watched Jiu Jitsu, which was okay, and we watched Whiplash, which was amazing.
Ooh, I gotta say something else.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm current on The Bachelorette. I'm not gonna spoil it. A little bit of spoils, but Tayshia goes on a date with Ivan, and they have a great talk on Black Lives Matter, and I am like, good job, ABC and The Bachelorette, for airing that whole conversation, because it's very important, and they both had great takes. Okay. I'm done.
I'm not caught up on The Bachelor because I've never seen an episode. Right. Seahawks are winning.
Yes, that's great.
Have we watched anything else? I've been playing WWE Battlegrounds. It's very good, fun. It feels like a 64 game. It feels very arcadey. So that's fun. Jesus, not a lot else. That's it. I think we've wrapped up.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, so check out Whiplash. If you want to get the code to it, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter.
What are you talking about?
They can ask me for my Twitter information, and I will send their asses a copy of Whiplash.
That doesn't promote movies. That's bad.
No. We also don't have anyone listening to us.
I don't think you can put that.
Send me information on Twitter. Send me your credit card information.
Oh my god.
And I will send you Whiplash. At least a picture. You think it's illegal, it's not. If they do it on their own, that's their choice. If you want to watch Jiu Jitsu, also send me money.
No.
I'm not gonna send it to them. I'm just saying send me money.
I understand.
Alright. Go to our Instagram at the_long_story_short_podcast. Or go to our Twitter, which is much easier to find, which is the long story sh1. And of course, go to our iTunes, subscribe, give us 5 stars. If you give us 1 star, fuck you.
Oh my god.
Stop saying oh my god, and also go to our goddamn YouTube. You get to see Jordan's face, and you get to see like my hair getting progressively longer. What's our
And our
YouTube?
cat.
What's our YouTube?
It's the Long Story Short podcast, I'm pretty sure.
We love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.